Hi, my name is Janice Ritchie, and I teach marketing at Douglas County High School. Today, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about engaging students in marketing concepts through vocabulary and foldables. I hope you find this useful. So, during our discussion today, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about vocabulary strategies, why they're important, and how you can use them. I'm also going to talk to you about foldables, what they are, and I'll give you some examples. Finally, I'll provide you a list of links and resources that will allow you to start incorporating both of these strategies into your classroom. First, let's watch this video about why teaching vocabulary is important. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching that little video. I just think it's really cute. And it shows you how people feel when they really understand and feel successful. So I want you to think about a time when you might have been the new person in a meeting or the new person at a school, and people were using a lot of different words that you didn't understand. It makes you feel like you're not going to be as successful as some of the other people are, I think. And it also kind of makes you feel a little hesitant about doing things or trying something new. And we want our students to feel successful, and we want them to feel empowered to be able to participate in our marketing activities. So, teaching vocabulary is really important. It helps our students feel successful. It helps them to better understand the content that we're teaching them, and it actually helps them improve their study skills for other classes, and that's a plus for us. So what are 3 ways that we can improve vocabulary? So there's 3 ways, and I use these in my classroom all the time: research or find meaning, visual representations, and review and practice. I'm going to talk about a little bit about each of those. So for researching and finding meaning, this is when you have the students actually find something that represents the meaning of the word. So you could have them find one picture that represents the word leadership and then describe why they said that. Or you could have them take the definitions and find a picture that represents each of those. You could have them write them in sentences. You could have them write them in poems or songs. Here's a few ways that I use that. Have the students create vocabulary tables or PowerPoints where they match the meaning of the word with a picture. There's word charting. And then, of course, there's models and artistic designs that are visual representations of the words. And some of those things, examples of those might be something like when I teach the restaurant or merchandising unit in my hospitality class, I have the students draw a layout of the restaurant. They have to have it represent the concept of the restaurant with a theme. They have to show the front of the house, the back of the house, where people work in the restaurant. And then I have them think about the branding and the visuals. So when we're doing types of displays, I might have them go on the internet and find pictures that represent each part of the display. They can either represent that in a poster or on a PowerPoint or in a foldable, as I'm going to show you later. So these are all different ways that students can match the meaning of the word with a picture or visual representation. Another couple activities that I do for this is the 7 functions of marketing. I'll have the students come up with something that has 7 parts. For instance, a caterpillar or a pizza or a 7-layer cake. And for each layer, I will have one of the functions of marketing, and on the back, they'll have the definition. So that's just a great way for them to picture those 7 functions. Other ways that students can find meaning or visually represent the meaning of words are through coloring and through different activities. So, coloring flashcards or squares in a table are great ways to do this. Having the students play a game of Pictionary is a great way. I found this on the internet and thought this was great. It incorporates social media concepts with vocabulary. And you could have them do an activity for a Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest. You can do it for one word. I'm kind of thinking maybe for a group of words. This might be more feasible. So I thought that was good. There's tons of vocabulary review games, and I don't know if you know this, or I am sure you've heard of this, that when students are actively engaged with hands-on activities, they tend to remember things better. So I think these games are a great way for students to work in teams and groups or whole class, as well as individually to review for the different games. And you can decide how loud it's going to get in your classroom based on how you organize the games. So then for online review, there are a number of different websites that you can use, including Kahoot and StudyStack and Quizlet. I use StudyStack all the time. One of the things I like to do before a test is I will have the kids turn on the quiz mode, and if they get an A or B on the quiz, as a ticket out the door, they get a free gummy snack from a school store. They love to compete with that and get that. So food works wonders, I have to say. All right, so once you have worked with your vocabulary, now it's time to talk a little bit about foldables and how we can use those in the classroom. Foldables are great for vocabulary, but they're also great for organizing the big picture. They're great for organizing concepts and notes and being able to see how everything fits together. So what is a foldable? The queen of foldables, her name is Dina Zeke, and her definition is that it's a 3D student-made graphic organizer based upon a skill or concept. And she says that it gives students a fast kinesthetic activity that helps them organize and retain information. And just looking at this picture, I would love to use this for customer profiles. I am for sure going to do that. I love that. It's so cute. So why should we use foldables in the classroom? They're fun and motivating, even for high school students. It's hands-on. They can use it as a study guide. It gives them a sense of ownership, and it lets them be creative, which I love. It helps them to organize the information in their mind because they have to organize it on a piece of paper. And I believe that really helps students. It's not a worksheet. They're not simply copying information down. They're much more engaged. It allows you to differentiate, and you can use it as a final assessment. So foldables are really, really useful. Some examples and ways that I use foldables. I use foldables from the very first day. I do something called license plates, and I have the kids fold paper like a hot dog. And on the front of it, they write their name. They draw symbols that represent things that they like to do, their family, questions that you might have when introducing yourself to someone. And then they color it. And then we use it the next day because then they stand up and they use it as their visual aid and they introduce themselves to the class. So it's a great way for them to not be so nervous, to practice presentation, to be creative. And not only that, but it teaches them some of my classroom procedures as far as like moving around the classroom, getting supplies, that kind of stuff. So it's a really great tool on the first couple of days of school. I love it. Next, I create flip books. I try not to do too many of them because I don't want the kids to feel like it's a, like they're doing a lot of notes. But sometimes you have to. For instance, the marketing research process or the selling process. These are long lists of processes that you want them to learn. You just kind of want to see them to understand how things fit together, but you don't want them to necessarily memorize the whole process. So what I do is I have them create a flip book, and each page has one of the steps in the process. It has it labeled, it describes what happens during that step, and then a picture. So that's a really good way for them to kind of see how it all fits together. Interactive notebooks are a way for you to put all of this stuff together, have it all in one place. They can state or paste everything in and turn it into you that way and keep it. I personally don't use interactive notebooks, but I know teachers that do. I think you have to be highly organized. And I am I haven't gotten there yet. In 20 years of teaching, I'm not there with that kind of a thing. But anyway, try it if you want to. I've got the links. Cubes and column charts and even placemats are great ways for kids to organize information. But if you want to do something that's just a 5-minute warm up, I love to do like little manipulatives with strips of paper and the column chart. So I'll fold a piece of paper. I have the kids fold a piece of paper when they walk in the room into 3 pieces. I'll have them label each type of decision making at the top, and then as we go through different things on the board, they have to decide where it goes in the chart. And they can work with a team or they can work by themselves. So it's a great way to review those different things. I love the marketing research process. The kids love putting it in order. I have them work with a group and they have a race. That's a good way for a manipulative. I loved this. I saw it this summer thanks to one of our teachers. And she said, provided us information about lap books. I love this. I'm going to use it. I think maybe for the international business unit, instead of doing the big trifold display boards, which cost a lot of money, I think this would be a great way to do it and have the kids be able to put everything together on a smaller trifold and turn that in, and that can be their test for that unit. I really, really like that. So anyway, those are different ways that you can use foldables. I have provided tons of links in the next couple of slides that will show you different ways. I have a book. I have lots of books of this that you can also get. Again, Dina Zeke, I think that's how you say her name. You can get them on Amazon, but honestly, you guys, you can do this. Find it all online. So hopefully these resources are going to be useful to you. I thought they were great. I can't wait to incorporate them into everything. So here are all the vocabulary links. Here are the foldable links. There's videos. There's websites. Here are more videos. I found this one was using foldables in business and entrepreneurship classroom, and it's actually showing how she does it. I thought that was fantastic. There's 5-minute activities. There's a game. They showed how to play the game. I just thought these are really good resources for you. I also wanted to make sure, because we don't know whether we're going to be in person this year or online, so I wanted to provide some of these websites for you. It has 20 Zoom icebreaker games and 12 Kahoot alternatives and ways to make Google Slides interactive. I just thought any way we can get the kids engaged, we might want to try it. So this is all for you. I'm glad you could come. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you have a great year this year. Thank you.